We got some SAT problems to do today, chat. I found. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember where I found this from, but I think I got it from College Board. It looks like it. Uh, but they got. I think they got both modules. I'm gonna just run through them. I've never done these before. I don't think, but we're just gonna try them. Hopefully, they have an answer key. And let's just see how we do. I'm about to go live on TikTok real quick. What should I say? SAT math stream module 1 and 2. All right. All right. Well, I don't think I have anything else to say. We can use Desmos on every problem now, apparently. So I guess I can have that prepared. But other than that, let's go. All right. I think they start off easy and get harder. Maybe. Let's see. A group of students voted on 5 after-school activities. The bar graph shows the number of students who voted for each of the 5 activities. How many students chose activity 3? Okay. Looking at the bar graph, on the y-axis, I got the number of kids. On the x-axis, I have the activity, number 1 through 5. Question asked for activity 3. According to the bar graph, it looks just under 40. Do I have an answer choice just under 40? I do. All right, nothing else really makes sense. All right, these, my 7th grade math teacher taught me this, so I'll never forget it. For any percentage problem, this is what you use. That'll work every time, just because you know a percentage is always out of 100. So whatever number goes in the of or is next to the of, that goes bottom left. Your percent or your is right there, and then you just solve for what percent. So I'll do like that. And then actually, if I'm color coding this correct, I should probably do it like this. Watch. I'm going to add another highlighter. And then I'm going to go like this. You really just got to match the words up. And then you just solve for whatever you need to solve for. So my is 75. My of is 300. Percent is what I want. I'll just put an X. And then what you could do, you could cross multiply, or you can just divide by 3 on bottom, and then you have to divide by 3 on top. So if you know 75 divided by 3, then that's that. And then I guess you could check your answer if you want to calculate it. If you take 300 and then take 25% of that, you could see if you got it. But okay, let's keep going. Number 3, we're just solving for x. That shouldn't be too bad. Here, I'll rewrite it. And then if I'm trying to get x by itself, what's good? I'm gonna just get rid of the fraction. And then you could do it like this and then figure out what that is, or I'll do it like this on the original problem. You could technically square root both sides. That's probably easier. And then one of the properties is you can split it up like this. Without a calculator, that's probably easier. And then notice that I got plus or minus, and I also noticed that it says what is a solution. So that right there lets you know that there probably is more than one. But all right. And then I'm going to just do it the second way since it's easier. And then if I times both sides by 5, you'll either get negative 30 or positive 30. So I'll go right there. Yeah, my full stream is on Twitch. Since it's vertical, I can only fit so much on TikTok. But I'll pin my Twitch in the comments. Hold on. Let me see real quick. Yeah. Appreciate that. I'm gonna see if I can pin this. Yeah, there we go. I meant to do that at the start. But I guess yeah, left half is right half is cut off, I mean. But all right, number 4 says 3. This is like one of those riddle problems. 3 more than 8 times the number x is equal to 83. Which equation represents this situation? All right, so more than, that lets me know I'm going to see a plus sign somewhere. And then 8 times a number, x, that's literally just 8x. So, and then equal to 83, I should just obviously have equal to 83. That looks like D. 8x, and then 3 more than that equals 83. That one's not that bad. All right, let's see. Hannah deposited a fixed amount into her bank account each month. The function f of t equals gives the amount in dollars in her bank account after t monthly deposits. What is the best interpretation of 25 in this context? All right, this really is kind of like one of those if you know type of problems, because, and I guess they try to trick you because they don't put it in the format that's like most recognizable. But if you can see this, then this definitely helps. If you're able to match that up, and you can just compare the 25 to the m, and so you know that's like a rate of change. And then they're talking about an amount of dollars. So without even looking at the answer choices, you should expect to see something like the rate at which her dollar amount is going up per month. Or it should say something like she's adding $25 a month or something like that. So looking at the answer choices, with each monthly deposit, the amount in her bank account increased by 25. That pretty much sounds like what we said. So I'll circle that, but let me make sure. The amount in her bank account was 25. That is, I can see people putting that if they mistake slope for y-intercept. After one monthly deposit, the amount was $25. That's just f of 1. And then Hannah made a total of 25 monthly deposits. I think that total amount, 25t plus 100, gives a dollar amount instead of a number of deposits. So I think I'm going to go A. But all right, let's keep going. 6. A customer spent 25 or 27 to purchase oranges at $3 per pound. How many pounds of oranges did the customer purchase? All right, so if it's $3 per pound, I guess I'll just do X. And then their total amount was 27. You just got to solve for X. Oh, Jack. I remember you from last time. But yes, I agree. I think it's 9 as well. All right, 9 pounds at $3 per pound sounds like 27. All right, that is kind of cool that you're in the word problem. I've never had that happen. That is kind of cool. But all right, you bought 9 storage bins that were each the same price. He used the coupon. Is this SAT? Yes. I got this somewhere from College Board. I don't remember. I just found it on my hard drive. But it's like a full module 1 and module 2. But 9 storage bins, each the same price. He used a coupon for 63 off the entire purchase. Okay, so the cost for the entire purchase after was $27. So I'll go boom. And then I know whatever he was originally going to pay, he got 63 off. So something minus 63. And then The total cost was 27. What was the original price for 1? All right. So since we're all these numbers right here are talking about dollar amounts, and so for the rest of this equation, you know that the 9 represents like the number of bins, but I guess I'll use D for dollars. However much one of them is, 9D is going to be the cost of 9 of them. And then whatever that cost is, the coupon says $63 off, and then my total came out to 27. So if I solve for D, that'll be the number of dollars for 1 bin. So I'm going to do exactly that. Is it 10? I don't know. It might be. That looks like 90. 9 times 10 is 90. So I agree. I know y'all probably hate the ones where you don't have answer choices because you can't like get confirmation. But it is what it is. All right, sweet. Number 8. I know y'all can't see it, but on the Twitch it's the widescreen. For the linear function f, the table below shows 3 values of x and their corresponding values of y. Which equation defines f of x? All right, so I'm noticing that x goes up by 1. And then I would need to look at how much the y's go up by. And if I notice it goes from 29 to 32, that's up 3. And then it goes from 32 to 35, that's also up 3. So it looks like the slope is 3. There is only one answer choice with a slope of 3. And if x was 0, 3 times 0 plus 29 is 29. So that agrees with the table. I don't know about you, but it's looking like A. Nas, I don't know if you're still in here to agree with me or not, but I'm thinking A. I don't even know if you can still see if you're looking on where you're looking, but I'll be on the left side in a second. All right, we got 2 right triangles, not drawn to scale. PQR, STU are similar, where P corresponds to S. Okay, that's obvious. If the measure of angle Q is 18, let me label these real quick. That means T is 18 as well. What is the measure of angle S? Okay, that should be not that bad because I got X, my angle that I'm trying to find, plus my 18 degrees plus 90 degrees equals 180. But in all honesty, if I'm taking the test and I'm like, under time pressure, I would just, instead of writing that above equation, I would just know that I could subtract 90 from both sides and go like this. And then I can just subtract 18 and then I would get B. Sky, what's good? Have you, you started already. Where do you, so wait, you're probably in what, statistics? Let me know. Because I know y'all start early. All right, number 10. The scatter plot shows a relationship between 2 variables, x and y. Which of the following equations is the most appropriate linear model for the data shown? Okay, I can go process of elimination on this one because obviously the slope should be negative. And again, they're trying to trick you because they're putting it in this format right here. And that, in all honesty, is probably going to throw some people off because I know you're probably used to seeing it like this. So you really just got to like switch them. And notice that your M, first of all, it's M when it's like a coefficient of X, not like a standalone constant. And then we know that M should be negative because my line is obviously decreasing. So that automatically eliminates A and C because both B and D both have negative slopes. You're not what? Taking statistics? What are you taking? or when do you start if you haven't started? Um, and then between B and D, you could try to figure out the slopes, but for me, it's easier to look at the y-intercept. One of the answer choices says 0.9 and one of them says 9.4. To me, that's a pretty obvious difference. I'm gonna go D. All right. What are we on? 11. How many questions is module 1? Dang. 27. I didn't know it was that many. All right. The given equation describes the relationship between the number of birds and the number of reptiles that can be cared for at a pet care business on a given day. If the business cares for 16 reptiles on a given day, how many birds can it care for on this day? Okay, so they're telling us that R is number of reptiles, and they're giving us that. So I'm going to go boom. That's R. And then it says how many birds. That lets us know we're trying to find B. And then they give us an equation to use. So I'm just copy that equation. But instead of R, I'm going to put 16 and then solve for B. And then I think, honestly, like I'm not a big fan of Desmos, but I think you can just let it solve an equation for you. Plus 5, what was it, 8, 16 equals 80. Does it solve equations? Oh, I guess not. That's good. Is the August SAT going to be extra unusual? I have no idea. I don't even have that kind of inside information. But that's good that it's not like a whole equation solver. Okay, so that's 80. Let me see. So 2.5b plus 80 equals 80. That is kind of one to make you second guess. But 5 times 16, that is 80. If I subtract 80 from both sides, that'll give me 2.5b equals 80 minus 80 is 0. So B is 0. They're kind of messed up for putting 0 as an answer choice. I can see that making people second guess themselves. But all right, number 12. This one looks like it should be pretty straightforward. What is an equation of the graph shown? All right, luckily all the answer choices are formatted good. I can see that the slope is obviously negative. So that means I can eliminate B and D because they both have a positive slope. And then the y-intercepts are the same. So we just got to figure out what the slope of that line is. And there are a couple of ways to do this, but I'm just going to look at 2 points and figure out the rise and the run. So from one point to the next, it looks like I'm going down 2 and then over to the right 2. So my slope would be -2, that's my rise, over +2, that's my run. So -1 is my slope. C is the answer choice with a -1 as a coefficient of x. Okay, not that bad. All right, number 13. This one should be pretty straightforward. I don't know if people know this or not, but it says if x over 8 equals 5, I'm going to write it like 5 over 1. I don't know if a lot of people know that if you take the reciprocal of one side of a fraction or one side of an equation, you can do the same thing to the other side. If you go on my Twitch, I got the full widescreen. I can only fit so much on here. But if you set it up like this, all you got to do is flip both sides. Let me make sure my Twitch is still pinned. I don't know if it is. Let me redo it. But yeah, if I flip the left side, I get 8 over x. And then if I flip the right side, I get 1 over 5. So 8 over x equals 1 over 5. If you didn't know that, I guess technically you could solve for x and then just do 8 divided by whatever you get. But obviously this way is a lot quicker. All right, number 14, and then I'm on the left side. We got two linears, system of equations. What is the value of y is what they want to know. So, of course, I got, numerous ways to do this. I can go elimination. I could substitute. But since I'm trying to get y by itself, I'm going to try to eliminate x. And if I look at the coefficients of x, if I want those to cancel, I'm going to need that bottom coefficient to be a negative 24. So here's what I'm going to do. Knowing that if I do that, that new coefficient will be negative 24x, and then my x's will cancel. That's not the only way to do it, but that's how I'm about to do it. So let me rewrite my whole system. So I got 24x. The top equation, I'm just leaving how it is. And then on the bottom, if I distribute, I'll get negative. Let me do it in a different color. I'll get negative 24x minus 4y. And then 72 times negative 4. What is that? 144 doubled. 288. I could have did that without Desmos. Negative 288. Let me double check to make sure I wrote that right. Okay. And then I'm going to add these two equations together, expecting for my x terms to cancel out. And then I should be left with just an equation in terms of y, and then get y by itself. So those cancel. 1y minus 4y should be negative 3y equals 48 minus 288. 48 minus 288, negative 240. And then I could treat it like there was no 0 right there. Divide both sides by negative 3. What is that? 70. All right. 240 divided by 3. 80. I messed up. That's tough. If this was a real test and I missed that, I would have been mad. But I'm even more mad that I wrote that wrong on stream. But that's how you do that. Negative divided by negative, positive, we're good. All right. 15 out of 20, what? 7? All right, I guess I'll do the whole module. All right, line T in the XY plane has a slope of negative 1/3 and it passes through the point 9, 10. Which equation defines line T? Let's see, what's the best way to do this? I could, I know the slope. I could solve for B, and then I could do it that way. Or if you know point slope form, which is like this. If you have that in your bag, you can do that, because you don't have to like solve for anything, because they give you everything and then you just rearrange your answer. So that's what I'm gonna do, because they give us y1, that's 10, and then m they tell us is negative 1/3. Y and x are always going to be in your equation. It's the m and then the point, the x1, y1, that we're replacing with numbers. And then it says x1 is 9. So I'm going to go like that. And then I just reformat my equation to get y by itself. Or just put it in like slope-intercept form. So that'll be y equals, I'm going to distribute the negative 1/3. And then I'm going to add 10 to that. So that'll be negative 1/3 x. So already I know it's probably going to be between C and D. But then if I distribute again, I get a plus 9/3, which is 3. And then I'm adding 10 to both sides. So negative 1/3 x plus 13 is what I'm getting. Dang, why is my 3 coming out like that? All right. Plus 13. Negative 1/3 x plus 13. Okay. Appreciate the follow. Let's keep going. The function f of x equals some exponential function models the value of a certain bank account by the end of the year. From this year to that year, where x is the number of years after 1957, which is the best interpretation of f of 5 is approximately equal to 243 in this context. All right, so x says it's a number of years after 1957. So 5 years after that would be what, 1962? All right, and that's approximately equal to 243. It models the value of a certain bank account by the end of the year. So 243 must be the value of a bank account in 62. So let's see which answer choice matches that. Not A. It's not going up by $5. 5 is a number of years, so I know it's not A. Let me cross that out. B, the value of the bank account is estimated. Yeah, B is exactly what we said. So if I'm pressed for time, I'm moving on. But if I got time, let me make sure. 5 times greater, that's definitely not it. D says every 5 years increases by 243. Nah, f of x is not a rate of change. It's just a value. And that value is 243. So I'm going with B. All right. So 17. Right side. I know you can't see it on my Twitch. I got the full screen. For a certain rectangular region, the ratio of its length to width is 35 to 10. If the width of the rectangular region increases by 7 units, how must the length change to maintain this ratio? I think this is the first problem that will like make people think, I feel like. So I'm going to draw it out. 35 to 10. Obviously, I'm not going to draw it to scale, but I'm just going to create a little visual. All right, so we got one dimension is 35 and the other one is 10. That's their ratio. And it says if the width of the rectangular region, so remember it's length to width. So 35 is like the length and 10 is the width. So let me denote that on my illustration here. Length is 35. So I'll just put an L in parentheses and then I'll put a W right here. So length to width, 35 to 10. Okay. If the width goes up by 7, how must the length change to maintain this ratio? Okay, so one ratio is going to be, we already know, 35 to 10. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put it as 3.5 to 1 just to make the math easier. And then I'm also going to put length to width just so I remember the ratio. And then it says if the width, actually, you know what? I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to keep it how it is. Cuz I don't want to take any chances of that messing up. So that should be equal to, cuz it says maintain, and the width goes up by 7. So that is now 17. And then how must the length change? And so it's saying that the length has to either increase or decrease. And so I feel like I'm going to just put X and then figure out what 35 had to do to get to X. That's my strategy. So if I got fraction equals fraction, I'm going to cross multiply. So 35 times 17. What is that? Hold on, let me clear these out. 35 times 17, 595. And then that'll be 10x. So whatever x is, what did 35 do to get to that? So I would divide by 10 on both sides. and then see what x had to do to get to 59.5. And of course, if you're dividing by 10, you can just move the decimal to the left once. All right, so if I start with 35 and I go up by 24.5, that will put me at 59.5. And that is an increase. So I'm going to go B. And it should make sense, honestly, if a certain ratio is maintained, if one dimension increases, the other one has to increase as well. I feel like it'd be different if they're like, if it had to involve the area, but if a certain ratio is maintained, if one thing increases, the other thing has to increase. So by that alone, you could have crossed off A and C. But all right, square P, I don't think I'll have to, but I'm going to draw a picture anyway. Has a side length of X inches. Okay. Square Q, let me label it. Square Q has a perimeter that is 176 inches greater than the perimeter of square P. Okay, so whatever that is, I'm going to make it a P or bigger. And then I'll call this one square Q. And then perimeter equals 176. So I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to have to find the sides of one of these. I'll call it Y. I could solve for Y right now since I know that all four sides are the same. Am I going to even have to do that though? Let's see. The function f gives us the area of square Q in square inches. Which of the following defines f? All right. So square Q's perimeter. Here's how I'm going to do it. I hate that they use capital P and then dealing with perimeter at the same time. But I'll do it like this. The perimeter of Q, what did it say? Whatever square P's perimeter is plus 176. And then remember, to get a perimeter of a square, it's just the side length times 4. So I'll go like this. That'll be a function. Actually, is that my... Oh, yeah, no, I'm pretty much done. Actually, no. Hold up. Because if that's my perimeter, the question says, which function gives me the area? So what I'll then need to do, if that's my perimeter and I want a side length squared, I got to take that perimeter, divide it by 4 to get one side length, and then square that. So I'll say Q area will be this whole thing divided by 4, or 1/4 of that, and then all of that squared. So if I'm taking 4x and I'm taking 1/4 of that, then that'll give me x. So it's either A or B. And then I got to take 176 and take 1/4 of that as well. So it couldn't be B. So I'm going to go with A. That's not a bad question right there. And then again, if I have time, I'm going to double check. Make sure my algorithm was correct. 176 divided by 4. 44. So that works out. I like that question. I'm not going to lie. Appreciate the follow. Okay, that was a good one. 19. The given equation relates the distinct positive real numbers w, x, and y. Which equation expresses w in terms of x and y? Okay, this is one of those ones where, like, I guess you kind of got to get used to the wording. Because when they're asking you which equation correctly expresses, that's just telling you to solve for w. But low key, I guess you could look at the answer choices and kind of figure that out. But that's all we're trying to do is just get w by itself. So let me rewrite the whole equation. So it's 14. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to notice a 14 over 7. And I'm going to just put that as a 2 over 1. Just to make things easier. So boom, square root of w plus 19. All right, so if I'm trying to get w by itself, first thing I'm gonna do, I guess technically I could square both sides, but if you do that, just know you have to square the 2 as well. You can either, I mean, that's not a bad idea, honestly. The other thing you would have to do is just divide by 2 on both sides first. I don't know which one. I guess I'll just divide by 2 first. And then also, I guess for right here, I would know that dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. And then you can see the 2's on the left cancel. So that's just x over y. And then the 2's over here cancel. So that's just the square root of w plus 19. Then, of course, I got to square both sides. All right, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'll square the whole left side, whole right side. See? Yeah, because once I square both sides, I'm going to just end up with w plus 19 on the right. And then if I'm trying to get w by itself, then I got to subtract 19. So if you look, the left side is that x over y, all of that squared, and then just know that I got a minus 19. So I guess I'll show my work. Boom. And then, so it's that. And then from there, I got a minus 19 on both sides. So x over y squared. Ooh, that was sloppy. Hold up. Minus 19 equals w. All right, whoever got D, I got D as well. Oh wait, whoa! I'm tweaking, bro. I wonder how many people get questions wrong, like for that reason. They'll do everything right, but just brain glitch and circle the wrong answer. I'm glad I caught that. Actually, I didn't catch it. I only looked at the chat because I seen you said C, and I was like, hold up, I didn't circle C. That's tough. All right, bet. I'm glad I'm not the only one, bro. That is tough. All right, next question. Point O is the center of a circle. As soon as I see anything remotely geometric, I'm inclined to draw a picture. All right, point O is the center of the circle. The measure of arc RS on this circle is 100 degrees. All right, so I'm just going to pick 2 points such that their arc is roughly 100 degrees. Which also means that this central angle is also 100 degrees. I don't know if I'll need that or not, but oh, is that what they're asking? What is the measure in degrees of its associated angle ROS? I accidentally answered the question. That was actually kind of crazy. Not really though, because that's, I don't know. That one is definitely like a if you know, you know type of question. Just knowing that the arc of a circle is the same as the central angle. And I mean, since we're right here, I guess I might as well throw this in there just in case you might have forgot. It is also true that if I make an inscribed angle like so, that inscribed angle is always going to be half of the central angle every single time. Yeah, that one was like a little too easy. But they could have asked, like, I don't know. I feel like they could have did a little bit more with that one. But all right, number 21. Properties of radicals and exponents is what this looks like, maybe. Let's see. The expression is equivalent to ax to the b, where a and b are positive constants and x is greater than 1. What is the value of a plus b? All right, let's try it. This one, I feel like I can sense like a little jump in difficulty. But okay, so whatever that expression is, I'm going to basically format it so where it's some coefficient times x to some power. And then I just add the coefficient and the exponent up. Okay, this, I don't know, it might be, let's see. So 6, and then since I have a fifth root, I'm going to just take everything inside of it and raise it to the 1/5. So that'll look like this. 3 to the 5th, x to the 45. All of that to the 1/5 power times. And then there's no coefficient on the second factor. So I'm just going to go 2 to the 8 x all to the 1 over 8 power. All right. So properties of exponents tell me that if I have some base to an exponent, all of that's raised to an exponent, then I just multiply the two exponents. I know that was kind of a mouthful, but those two things I'm about to multiply. So that'll be equal to 6. And then that'll be 3 to the 5 times 1/5 is just 1. So 3 to the 1 times x to the 45 times 1/5. What is that, 9? Because 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 9 is 45. And then that is being multiplied by 2 to the power of 8 times 1/8 is just 1. And then this is x to the 1/8. All right, so I think, let me see. I want to kind of lump everything into one big coefficient. And then I'm going to have an x to the 9th times x to the 1/8. 41.125. Then a plus b is like 36 plus 9/8. Oh, you got it already? Bet. So that's what? 6 times 3 is 18. 18 times 2 is 36. And then I got x to the 9th. I'm going to write it out. Times x to the 1/8. Properties of exponents tell me right here that I need to add my two exponents. So that's 36x to the power of 9 plus 1/8. I guess if you wanted to, you could get common denominators right there. So a plus b, that'll be, dang, I'm running out of space. So that'll be, my a would be what, 36? And then my b would be 9 plus 1 over 8. 72 over 8. Let me know if my mental math is wrong. I'm just trying to write 9 so that I have common denominators. But I'll admit, doing math like for the first time live on stream, I can see why people be typing in like 2 times 2 on the calculator. I think I get it. But okay. 72 plus 1. I think I don't know for questions like this how they want y'all to type it in. But actually, you know what? Since I can use a calculator, I'm gonna just write the whole thing as one big fraction. So 36 over 1, I'm gonna figure out what that is over 8. So that's what, 36 times 8. 288. So I'm gonna do this. 288 over 8 plus that 72 and 1 will make us 73 over 8. And then whatever I get over 8, I'm just gonna, because I think you can type like a slash in the, what you call it. So 288 plus 73. 361. I don't think that is divisible by 8. So I'm gonna just leave it like that. Let me see. 361 over 8. Yeah, it was what whoever said. Streams? Yeah, you got it. But 361 over 8, I'm glad I'm getting what y'all are getting. Okay. Since I'm on the right of the screen, let me pin my Twitch so y'all can go to it if you want to see the right side. I'm typing it in here as if it's not in a whole overlay. I'll be forgetting that I have that right there. But I'll pin it anyway. All right, we're on 22. Let's see. A right triangle has side lengths. What is the area of the triangle in square units? Okay, this one, I don't think this one will be too bad. As long as you remember, don't worry about drawing it to scale so much. Just remember, make your labels make sense. So I got a 2 root 2 and a 6 root 2. And then I got a square root of 80. I'm going to make sure that whatever is the largest of the three is going to be my hypotenuse. So the square root of 80, what can I use? What's the best number to use? 20 times 4. I could do, I mean, there's a lot of options, but I'm going to just do 20 times 4 for right now. And then the square root of 20, I can break that down like this. And then like that. So I got, oh, it was 16. 16 and 5. So the square root of 4 times the square root of 4 is the square root of 16, which is 4, times root 5. And then I guess what I'm trying to do is make sure that of my 3 lengths, I'm going to let my longest one be my hypotenuse, because the other 2 are going to be my base and my height. So between 6 times the square root of 2 and 4 times the square root of 5, I'm going to Desmos them to see like which one is bigger, 4 root 5 or 6 root 2. And then for people who are like just doing this for the first time, this is how you do it. You just type SQR, and that's a shortcut for square root. See, the thing, I don't know, cause okay, hold up, cause there's a SAT version of Desmos, and I know it like cuts off some features. I don't know if it can. I don't think it can solve equations for you. I don't know. Let me know if you can or not, but I don't think you can. So, oh yeah, I just had it open too. I can't even go back. What was it? 4 root 5 and 6 root 2. All right, so it looks like 4 root 5 is bigger, so that's got to be the hypotenuse. And then the other 2 are the legs, so I'll go like this. 2 root 2 and 6 root 2. And then, so since they're perpendicular to each other, that's the height and the base. And then area of a triangle, I'm gonna erase this, because that was just to figure out what goes where. And then I'm going to do 1/2 base times height and then see what I get. So 1/2 base times height, height times base, same thing. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I got a 1/2 times 2. That's just 1. And then that times 6. 1 times 6 is 6. And then root 2 times root 2 is 2. I guess I should write at least a little bit of what I'm doing. So I'm getting B. Not a bad one. I think, I don't know if I'm trying to think without typing those square roots into the calculator. I feel like that would not be fun trying to figure out which one is bigger and which one is smaller. Because once you figure that out, your height and your base, you just plug them in. So, all right, number 23. The expression is some quadratic. B is a constant. Can be rewritten as hx plus k times x plus j, where h, k, and j are integer constants. Which of the following must be an integer? This wording just makes it seem kind of hard. All right. So here, let me write this out. So they're saying 4x squared plus bx minus 45 can be rewritten as hx plus k times x plus j. So it's like a product of two binomials. H, K, and J are integer constants. So they're whole number constants. Which of the following must be an integer? Okay. Well, without even doing any work, well, okay. I was gonna say C or D, but even if H and K are integers, it doesn't guarantee that like 45 divided by that will also be an integer. So hold up. Okay, so I wonder if it wouldn't help to solve for B. I wonder if I don't think I want to just brute force come up with values of H, K, and J. I feel like that's like too many possibilities. So what I'm going to try to do is factor this as much as I can. And let's just see what happens. I don't know. I don't have a super clear strategy on this one. But if ever I'm trying to factor and there's a coefficient, I always go slide and divide. 45 times 4 is what? 180. So this will be x squared plus bx minus 180. And then if I factor that, see, that's the thing. If I factor this without knowing what b is, well, actually, I don't think I'm gonna do it this way. I might just try to like use my 45 and my 4 to try to think about what at least K and J can be, because I know that K times J should equal negative 45 if that's my last. And then according to first, I know that hx times x should equal 4x squared. So does that mean I can solve for h if my x squareds cancel? If you go to my Twitch, I'm gonna put it, actually it's just right above my head. I got it widescreen on there if you want to see like the right side of my screen or my whole screen. But if I do this, hx squared equals 4x squared. X squareds would cancel and I do get h equals 4. So, hold up. 4 does not go into 45. So I know that 45 over h or 45 over 4 is not an integer. So I can eliminate C. K times J is 45. So, and if K, J, and H are integers, 45 over K is negative J, which is still an integer. If J is an integer, then negative J is an integer. So I low-key want to go D. Let me write down my logic on this one. Hold on, let me do this. I'm going to move this over so I can work with it. Because they're asking about 45 over K. And so if I divide by K on both sides, or actually, yeah, I'll do that. So then I get J equals negative 45 over K, but I'm gonna multiply both sides by negative 1. So I get the 45 over K that my answer choice says. If J, I don't even think I want to investigate A and B, because just using logic, if 45 over K equals a negative integer, then that is also an integer. So I kind of want to go D. That's a good one. Mr. Benson, what's good? How's the family, man? I'm gonna clip this one right here, Mr. Benson, so you can see it. I want to know like how you would do that one, because that one is not easy. Long story. Text me. Okay, number 24. System of equations. One's quadratic, one is linear. A is a constant. The graphs intersect at x, y. What is the value of x? I want to just graph both of these. And then make sure A is such that the two graphs only intersect once. I mean, I'll clip it. I'll go back and clip it. Number 23. On here, you can't see it. But on my Twitch, it's widescreen, so you can see it. So I'll clip it. It's a pretty good problem. But okay, for this one, though, I think the most strategic way is to just graph both. Wait, can I do sliders on the testing version? Let me see. Ooh, I can. Okay, bet. So if I can do that, then I can graph the other one. 2x squared minus 21x plus 64. All right, let me see. So right here, y'all can see that the graph intersects twice, but the problem says the graphs intersect at exactly 1 point. So I'm going to mess with my slider until it intersects only once. If I can even do that, I can. I don't know if A can be, wait, does it say anything about the constant? What is the value of X? So I want to see if I can try to get it where they connect exactly once, which at -8, it looks like they do. Let me zoom in real quick. Yeah. It appears as though 6, 10 is where they both touch. Doing this without calculus is tempting. But 6, 10, and they wanted X. That is an answer choice. I guess what I would do in addition to doing this, just to like give myself some assurance, is I would probably just test it out. If I know what A is and I claim I know what X is, just get a Y coordinate and then use that same X in the top equation and see if it matches that Y coordinate. That is a mouthful. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if A is -8, I'm going to just replace A with -8 right here because that's my claim. So I got the line and then the green is a curve. And I am claiming that they intersect at that point. I know that X is 6. So here's what I'll type in. If I'm thinking that X is 6 and then -8. So that gives me a Y value of 10. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the other graph. Replace X with 6 and then see if I get 10. If I get that, then that kind of lets me know I'm correct. So 2x squared minus 21. And then instead of X, I'm putting 6 and then a plus 64. All right. So you see I got 10 and 10. That means they intersect. So X is 6. I don't know. I like watching other people do stuff like these because I don't know if my way is the same or different as like how somebody else would do it. Because I'm quite sure there's probably other ways to go about it. That way worked. See, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Mr. Benson, how would you do it? Because I don't know. That was just the first solution that I can think of. All right, but 25. I'm gonna stop at 27, so I only got three more. An isosceles right triangle has a hypotenuse of length 58. I don't think on the formula sheet they give you like definitions and stuff like this. So I think you just gotta know what isosceles right triangles are and what they look like. Okay. What is the perimeter in inches of this triangle? So I gotta add up all three sides. That side and that side are the same. That's really the hardest part, honestly, just knowing that that's true. If you have an isosceles right triangle, you can use Desmos. Oh, I see. But yeah, that 24 was a good one too. I was talking about clipping 23, but 24 was low key just as good. But okay, so perimeter. I got to figure out what S is first and then just add them all up. So if I'm trying to figure out S, I know it's a right triangle, so I can use Pythagorean theorem. S squared plus S squared is 2S squared equals my hypotenuse squared. And then if I'm trying to solve for S, I'll do that. And then I'll take the square root of all of this. So actually, you know what? I'm going to just write it first. So S squared equals 58 squared over 2. And if I'm trying to solve for S, I'm going to square root S squared, which means that I can square root the right side. But instead of square rooting the whole thing, I'm going to just use the property that says I can do this. And then that works because I know the square root of 58 squared. That makes that a little easier. So my one side is 58 over the square root of 2. But that's just one side. And if I'm trying to add up that S plus another S plus a 58, it's got to be C or D because that's the only one that's adding 58. And then if I'm adding 58 over 2, but two of them, then 2 S's is going to be 2 of 58s over root 2's. And I know I'm multiplying the whole fraction by 2, but that's the same thing as multiplying the numerator by 2. So obviously that's not C. 58 times 2 is 116. So I'm going to go D on that one. Okay. Two more. I'm going to pin my Twitch just one more time, just so people can know where to look at the full screen. Benson, what are you teaching this year? Are you still doing calc? I still haven't got to teaching BC yet, bro. I'm still doing AB and then geometry. What about you? Okay, two more questions. In the XY plane, a parabola has vertex 9, negative 14. What you mean? Okay. In the XY plane, a parabola has vertex 9, negative 14 and intersects the x-axis at 2 points. If the equation has a parabola written in that form where A, B, and C are constants, which of the following could be the value of A plus B plus C? Okay. How do I want to approach this one, first of all? I could, like, as I was reading this, my first thought was to put it in vertex form. If If you look at my pinned comment, that's where you can find like the full screen. I'll type it in one more time. So vertex is 9 comma negative 14. So I know I can at least write it like this. What was it? A times x minus 9 squared. Okay, that I know. I don't know A. But that A is not the same thing as the A that they're talking about. Because I had to reformat this. And without being able to tell what my A is, I think from here all I can do is reformat it. And I don't know. Let's just see what I get when I do that. So that'll be, I'm going to keep my 14 on the left for right now. And then I'm going to FOIL my x minus 9. I hope this is the right strategy. So I'll add it over now. So that'll be A times, that'll be x squared for my inner. My outer will be what? Negative 18x plus 81. All of that is being multiplied by A. And then I'm subtracting 14. This is getting kind of interesting. So I got y equals, I'll go ax squared minus 18ax plus 81a minus 14. Which of the following could be the value of a plus b plus c? Okay, so if it has a vertex at 9, negative 14, that means it's concave up. That, well, I mean, I guess I can show this. If I'm at the point 9, what was it, 9, negative 14? If my vertex is right here, then, oh, I gotta label it. Then I know in order to touch, because didn't it say it touched the x axis twice? Yeah. If that's the case, then I would have to be concave up. So that means A would have to be positive, which means negative 18a for my B would be negative. And then that 81a plus 14 is like super positive. This one's hard. I wonder, because I don't think, because there's 3 variables, I don't even think I can start to create a system of equations. So I think I'm going to probably use Desmos to my advantage and maybe come up with like one specific equation that does have that vertex and has 2 roots. And then just see what A, B, and C are added together. So let me think. How would I do that? I could type in the function that I know. Actually, I can type it in either format and then just use A as a slider. That's what I'm gonna try to do. So I'll do this. It was y equals ax squared minus 18ax plus 81a minus 14. And I want to see if I can use this to get like a possible value of a that works. Okay, so as you can see, my vertex. Actually, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me scroll this over. My vertex is what it says it was, 9, -14. And then, of course, I can change A and make it to where there's like a whole bunch of different possibilities. So even if A was 1, I can use that to get like an A, B, and a C. I don't know, let's just try it. So if A is 1, then that means B, hold on, let me do it like this. Can I do that? Can y'all see that? Okay. So if I'm letting A be 1, that means B is -18 times 1, which is -18. And then that means that C would be 81 times 1 minus 10 minus 4. So that's what, 71, 70, 69, 68, 67. But even then, that's not going to add up to one of the, well, I don't know. Because 68 minus 18 does not give me even a negative result. So I wonder, I guess A has to be big enough to where A plus B plus C comes out to be like one of those negative numbers. This question is weird. Can you explain to me why people that are good at math like that don't just become engineers? I don't know. Some people just like to do math and help people get better at it. Some people don't like the corporateness of most engineering fields. I don't know. That's just my guess. Okay. Plus, I think there's a lot to it, a lot more to it other than just straight up doing math. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to come up with expressions for A, B, and C, all in terms of A, and then use that to see if I can get one of these answer choices. So I'm adding A, which is A, obviously, and then B we said was -18A, and then we said C was 81A minus 14. So as long as I have two roots, I can slide A, and then will I ever get a negative result? Let me see. Okay, hold up. So I'm getting some negative results. Are any of them these answer choices? That's the tricky part. Because A has to be positive. I wonder, let me make sure I did that right and type it in vertex form and see if I get the same thing. Y plus 14 equals A parentheses X minus 9 squared. Yeah, that's the same equation. 9 -14. Which of the following could be the value of A plus B plus C? Oh, you know what? I think I'm mixing up my A with actually no, because I let my A turn into their A. Yeah, because I had my A, and then I distributed it, and then yeah. Because I let that be the coefficient of X squared. Huh. But the thing is, the roots are different depending on A. So because all of these examples right here as A slides, they all have a vertex at 9, -14, and they all intersect the x-axis at 2 points. So there's like a range of possible roots. So I know A has to be positive, but whenever I add up A, B, and C, that result is also positive. I don't know. This one's confusing. Let me make sure I'm not missing nothing. Yeah, that one's weird. I low-key want to come back because it's like as you have a whole bunch of values of A, your sum of A plus B plus C just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the only value when it's negative, unless you get like values that are really, really, really small, which I highly doubt they would do it like that. Let me do like 0 to 1. I don't even know if you can step that much on here. Negative. Can I even hit? I don't even think I can hit. Oh, wait, hold up. What does A have to be for you to hit -12? Can I? Okay, so look, if A is 0.03, no, it could be either one of those. It could be -12 or it could be -14. Actually, no, it can't be -14 because that's when A is 0. Okay, that can't. There's no way that that's the way to answer this question, bro. So look, if A is 0, which we know can't happen because we know A has to be positive, then the sum of A plus B plus C is -14. So anything smaller than any A value smaller than that, my A plus B plus C would also be smaller than -14, which rules out B and A, and we ruled out C, so it has to be D. But there's no way that that's the like way to do it. I mean, I guess I'm glad I got it right because that one was hard and I was about to give up. But I want to run that one back and see how other people do it because I don't know. But all right, last question. Since this is the last question, I'll let y'all see it on TikTok. Ephraim, is this E? Instead of rapping? Hey, I do a little bit of that too. Answer is -8. So what? Number 27? I didn't even read it yet. Okay, but I'm a post the whole entire playback on my YouTube. So whatever problems y'all couldn't see, my YouTube is like full widescreen, so you can see all the problems. But for number 26, yes, Charlie, yes, I got the full widescreen on there. But for number 26, I got -12 instead of -8. Have you now noticed a lot of high school kids have bad algebra skills? Of course. I see bad algebra skills every day. But it's okay. All right, last question. Function f is defined by f of x equals -a to the x plus b. A and b are constants. In the xy plane, the graph of f of x minus 15 has a y-intercept of 0, -99/7. What in the world? The product of A and B is 65/7. What is the value of A? All right. This is hard. Oh, I'm just looking at the Twitch chat. It might be GG's. Yeah, that 26, that one was hard. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, y'all heard me say it. I almost gave up on that one. That one, I really want to see, like, is that the only way? Because there can't be, I don't believe that the only way to do that is how I did that. Because that took me like 6 minutes. One idea, I'm just reading y'all's Twitch chat. My fault. Appreciate you, Metro. My bad. I got to get used to reading both chats. But yeah, I'm gonna go back and see like if there's a better way to do number 26. But all right, anyways, last one. This one is on some BS too. Okay, so what I can say is y equals, I know f of x is this, and then minus 15. So if y has a y-intercept of negative 99 over 7, I think I can set that to b minus 15. I think. Okay, hold up. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but okay. Let me think. Dang, this one is kind of hard too. Hold on, let me lock in. The graph of y is whatever f of x is, but 15 lower. So also I know that the y-intercept is obviously whenever x is 0. So if I let x be 0, negative a to the 0 is 1 plus b plus negative 15. That has to come out to be this. So I could solve for b, and then I can say a times whatever I get for b equals 65 over 7, and then solve for a. Okay. All right, so the strategy is that I figured out how to do it. Now I just got to do it. So we said that negative 99 over 7 equals negative a to the 0. Because remember, we're talking about y-intercept, so I know x is 0. So negative a to the 0 is 1. 1 minus 15 is negative 14 plus b. Okay. From here, I believe, Waldo, you said you got the trick to answering 26. Please let me know, or like send it to me in a DM or something, because I really want to know. I'm super curious, because I will never believe that I did it in the most optimal way. Just put 0 comma negative 99 over 7 into the problem and cancels out to minus 1, and then solve for b, and then solve for a from b. Yes, I think, Evan, you and I are talking about the same thing. You can use Desmos, but on a lot of problems like this, I be forgetting I can use it. So if I start it like without it, I'm gonna just keep doing it. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna probably use it at some point. Let me see. So if I'm trying to solve for b, I gotta add 14. I can definitely use it for that. So I can solve for b. So I'm gonna say, I will use Desmos to say what that is. So let me see. Negative 99 over 7. That last one was a doozy. Okay. So I got negative 99 over 7 plus 14. I used Desmos for years until I realized this. Let me show y'all. That fraction button, I never knew that turned it into a fraction. It took me so long to realize that. But negative 1 over 7 bit. So I'm going to go negative 1 over 7 equals b. And then from there, they told me that a times b is 65 over 7. And like somebody said in the chat, who said that? Evan, I can just use that equation to solve for a. What was that last one? I missed it. Oh, y'all got it already in Twitch? Okay, bet. I was just saying that on Desmos, if you click that little fraction icon, it'll turn your answer into a simplified ratio. Okay, so To get here, I'm going to just multiply both sides by -7. Oh, hold on. That's way too sloppy. Hold up. I can do better. -7, and then multiply this by -7. Those 7s cancel. That negative stays. So I'm getting what everybody else got. A equals -65. That one was kind of hard, but not as hard as 26. I don't know. I got to go back. Waldo, in the Twitch chat, if you can, send me a DM on like Instagram or something and let me know what you did. But next stream, I'm going to do module 2. I don't think it's anywhere as near as many. Oh, it's 27 as well. I don't think that's like the current SAT. I don't know if both modules are that many questions. They might be, but I'll do these on the next one. That was fun. I'm going to go back and check my answers too and see if I got any wrong. But yeah, this is just a past SAT or like a College Board SAT. Where did I get this from? Oh, yeah. Somewhere from College Board. Oh, I can score it, but I'm going to do that. This was practice test number 4. All right. I'm going to go back and maybe next time I get on, I'll go and like check my answers to see if I missed any. But I answered all of them. I was pretty confident in the majority of them. So we'll see how I do. And we'll see if we get a perfect score. But W stream, I'm going to catch y'all.